Hello, Los Angeles. Yeah, baby. So good to be here. I know, just as Mike was saying that, I just had this really I thought it was a good idea. My wife and I flew out here yesterday, and then I was thinking, 7 kids at home, they're responsible, they're good kids. And then he just reminded me that 4 of them were teenagers. So I don't have a single babysitter in my house. My kids are like, yeah! So it's a little crazy going on in my house. So don't pray for me, pray for them, and pray that the house is still together by the time I get home. Now, I know how many of you have been to City of Saints last year? Woo! Yeah! And I know, I saw a lot of you singing and all that kind of stuff, the people that were here last year, and they're just like, and there's some of you, there's like, City of Saints, and then it's finally here and you're counting it down. You're like, I'm following it on Instagram, and it's 4 days, 3 hours, 2 minutes. And then you're just like, you're really pumped to be here. I get it, okay? You're going crazy. You love City of Saints. That's awesome. It's great to have you here, okay? And then there's some of you that are just kind of like, I really have no idea what I'm really doing here. This cute girl asked me to come. I said, okay, And they put me in the car, and this youth minister was just like, hey, it's going to be a great week. Oh, it's going to be awesome. And you were just like, I don't have anything else to do. And then they were like, here, I'll fill out the form for you. And they're like, thank you. It's just like, here you go. What should I tell my parents? Don't tell them anything. And then there's some of you that are just like, I really don't want to go. And you see the youth minister, and they look at you, and they're like, oh, it's going to be an awesome weekend. And you're like, no, it's not. No, it's going to be really great. No, not for you, maybe, not for me. When I was 16, I was that kid. My parents made me go on a retreat when I turned 16. And how do people make you go? Like, Steve, you're a big guy. Are your parents just gorillas? Do they just throw you in places? Like, can you not fend for yourself? They're normal size. I know what you're thinking. No. My mom said you cannot get your driver's license unless you go on the retreat. God love her. So I debated. I was like, I like bikes. I could ride my bike wherever I want, and then I'm like, oh, man. So I go on the retreat. It's very similar to this, and my job on that retreat is to make everyone in charge's life miserable. Yeah. Okay, Jesus freak people. Like I just would sit in there and I'm like, Steve, are you going to clap? Are you going to sing? I'm like, no. Yeah, I would completely make fun. And this poor little girl, Michelle Wobie, who's like my chaperone, my table leader, the big gung-ho. You've got some chaperones and some core members like that. They're like, yeah! And you're like, ugh. You're like, where are they sitting? They sit down next to you, and they're just like, hey! And you're just like, I got to go to the bathroom. We have those. That was Michelle to me. So all I did was completely make Michelle's life miserable. I mean, that's what I did, And I don't know where you're at tonight. I don't know, like Mike said, why you're here. My job tonight is to do one thing, is to let you know that you belong here. That you belong. That Jesus Christ, no matter who invited you, what paper you filled out, what cute girl, what parent made you do it, it all comes down to one thing. Remove all of that. Because 15, 16, 17 years ago, God knew you were going to be right here tonight. And you belong. If you get anything else out of tonight, you belong in this church. I don't care where you're at in your life. Jesus Christ wants you to know that you belong. So I tell you that, and I ask you tonight to just simply repeat these words after me. Jesus. Open my heart. thing is falling off my ear. Don't repeat that. Jesus opened my heart. That's all you need to do tonight. So, for me, a little bit about myself. Like Mike said, I have 7 kids. 4 of them are teenagers. So I just loop in their Spotify list, and I listen in the car. What in the world is this song? So that's how I keep track of my kids. But I travel all over the world. I have an unbelievable job with Life Teen. I get to share Jesus Christ with teenagers everywhere. Australia. This last year, I was in South Africa. And it was amazing. And one of the things that I like to do when I go on these trips is do something that I probably wouldn't do at home, or my wife wouldn't really like if I did at home. So this last year, I decided I was going to go great white shark cage diving. Okay? You're in South Africa, right? Like, what do you do in South Africa? You go cage dive. So this is me. Okay, this is me getting ready. They get us there at Cape Town, and they get us on a little boat, and they drive this little boat out to a place called Seal Island. Okay, and Seal Island has 64,000 seals on that island. No one else lives there, obviously. I mean, oh, hello. 64,000 seals on this island. So what do you think is going to be hanging out around that island? Well, some sharks are. So they drive us, they get us in the boat, they drive us all the way out there. They give me this little cute little outfit, and I'm like, yeah! It's still not connecting in my head what I'm putting on myself and what I'm looking like while I do that, okay? Then, here's me getting in to the cage, okay? They put the little cage on the side of the boat, and you're just like, and this lady, she didn't get in. She just put you in there. It's like that sinister laugh. Have fun! So I get in, and then there's Mr. Shark. Immediately, I get in, and a 15-foot shark comes flying by, and this is how they get the shark. They throw in this big, I'm sorry, yeah.
All right, if you need anything.
Okay, thank you. Hey, let's go! So they throw a big fat tuna head out behind the boat, and then they pull it in, they throw it out, and then a guy gets up on the top and goes, and you're sitting in the cage, just sitting there going, what am I doing? And I've got the goggles on and everything, and they give you this little thing, and then you sit with like your head above the water until he goes, down, 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 and you just go, woo. And I kid you not, this shark, he's over here, he's like, oh. He grabs the tuna head. It's like, and then he throws it out, and he just kind of looks at me. And I'm like, I am yelling into the air's supposed to come this way, into me, and I'm yelling out, and the air's, I'm like somewhere in that cage, they're hearing me scream. I was scared to death. This is me, scared to death. Ah! I come right back up out of the cage, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, if you ever want to feel like you don't belong somewhere, dress yourself up like a seal, go over and hang out with 64,000 seals, and get in the water. Humans aren't supposed to be in there. I mean, it was an amazing experience, don't get me wrong, but it was just like your heart pounds because you're like, I don't belong here. It was a crazy experience. Would I do it again? I don't know. I probably would, because it just gets your heart racing, just like, I want to go in places I don't belong. I have that teenager in me. Oh, it says no admittance. But you see, in our church, we have something so beautiful. It's called baptism. I know you remember it. You probably took some pictures. When you were a kid, you remember. I mean, you totally remember. Your stomach is full. You've had so much milk. You're kicking back with a pacifier in your mouth. Everything's cool, just hanging back with the pacifier. All of a sudden, they take off the onesie, that's kind of constraining. I mean, don't get me wrong. And then they put on this long garb, and you're like, oh, yeah, let it, free air. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. You get to church, you're just like, I've been here before. I remember this, the name, I could, father's voice. No offense, fathers, but go with me. And your parents take you to the back, and they're holding you, and they're trying to get you, and it was the perfect moment. And you just fall asleep. And you're like, they kept making a big deal about this baptism thing. This is pretty easy. I'm telling you. And you're just falling asleep. All of a sudden, you don't need pacifier anymore. It just kind of falls out of your mouth because you're just like, I am so good. And then all of a sudden, this water comes on your head, spills down into your eyes, goes up your nose, and you're like, ah. And the first thing you see is a priest. You're like, ah. Like, Father, you got to remember these things. Like, first impressions are everything. We're trying to get kids to come to church. You're like, oh. The beautiful thing is in that sacrament that I've witnessed 7 times with my own kids, the next thing that the priest does, these are some amazing things that I don't remember because I was a baby. I don't remember what happened. I knew that I had godparents. I didn't really know what they were. I just knew they gave me gifts, Like, hey, you got godparents. Well, they're going to show up around Christmas time. Hello, Like, I didn't really know what was going on, but there's a part, and there's many different parts. The first one is where they take the chrism and they put it on your chest. Like, as a parent, you're just sitting there, and I remember the first time, like, Abby, okay, well, pull it down. We're putting the chrism. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you putting chrism on her chest? They put the chrism on your chest so that you're slippery from the devil's grasp. How cool is that? I am a baby, Now I am slippery from the devil's grasp. Like, give me some war paint. I'm ready. The second thing is they anoint you priest, prophet, and king. That's in the ceremony, that you get anointed priest, prophet, and king. I know some of you are women who are just like, wait, Steve, girls can't be priests. It's not the sacramental priesthood, but priest, prophet, and king. You belong. And then in that moment, in that sacrament of baptism, Jesus Christ, it says in the catechism, that puts an indelible mark on your soul. Indelible mark. Jesus Christ basically tattoos you. I mean, that's pretty cool. He's just like, yeah, give me a sleeve, Lord. Oh, yeah, you want to try to, yeah, slippery. Like an indelible mark. An indelible mark, it says in the catechism, can never be eliminated, forgotten, changed, erased, or removed. Ever. It says in the catechism that no sin can ever take that mark away. You see, from the moment that you were born, you belonged. From the minute that you pooped your pants and you got rolled in there to that baptismal font and that priest strangely woke you up, you belonged. He made a mark on your soul. Now, fast forward to where we're at right now, 43, 16, 17. How many times do I want to cover that mark up? How many times have I sinned to be able to just say, you know what, the mark is gone. Come on, really? I don't belong. Many of you might be thinking, to yourself, I don't belong here. There's so many more people that are holier than me, Steve. Like, you even know? Like, if you knew what I did last night, I wouldn't belong here. That's wrong, you see, because there's no sin. It says that the indelible mark can never be removed, never be erased. No matter how hard you press on your soul and be like, I don't want Jesus. It's not going away. He's marked you, tattooed you. And from that moment, you belonged, and he longed to be with you. You belonged, and he longed to be with you. You got sent out as an army with your parents. You grew up. You grew hair under your arms, and you grew smells and bells and all this kind of stuff, and you grew awkward. Always belonging. And Jesus always following you, longing to be with you. How do I know that, Steve? Where does it say that? I don't get that. God sent Jesus. Now get this, in five different stories that I want you to realize here. The first one as the good shepherd. How many times have I felt like the one sheep, 99 people are there. I work in an amazing ministry called Life Team, and there's amazing people in it. You know how many times I feel like the one person that doesn't belong there? All the time. And I fight my way through, many times even on that retreat. And that might be you. Even tonight, you might be seeing, oh, hey, Wall's there, and they're all singing, and I don't belong, and where's the bathroom, and I want to get out of here. Jesus Christ came to that one. He left the 99 because he yearned to be with you. That's how much you belong. You belong even if you feel like, I'm strange, I'm weird, I'm awkward. Like a leper. How many times have I felt like a leper? Lord, there's so many more holy people in my life. Lord, what about these desires that I have that are not of you? I don't know what's going on. I feel like a leper. You belong. If you have an attraction to the same sex, you belong in this church. I want you to hear that. Because Jesus Christ put a mark on your soul. You belong here. I know it's not easy in our church. I know sometimes you feel like you just jumped in with a bunch of sharks. I'm telling you right now, our church has to evangelize so much better than we're doing right now. We don't have to make Catholic people more Catholic. We got to go make those people out there part of our church. We've got a lot of work to do. Jesus Christ did that throughout everything. I mean, look at the woman caught in adultery. Laying down, they're getting ready to stone her. And all he does is come to her, lift her face up and say, you belong. You belong with me. I don't care what they say. I don't care what laws they think you broke. You belong with me. We'll get to those things, but I want you to know that you belong right here with me. The hemorrhaging woman. I mean, he was on his way somewhere else. That's when Jesus tells us that he's interruptible. A lot of times I'm just like, well, Jesus, there's so many people that need prayers more than me. Have you ever done that where you're just like, well, pray for me. Oh, I can't tell people to pray for me. There's more people that need prayers for me. Like, the hemorrhaging woman reaches out to him. He's on his way. Another man had come to him, a centurion, and said, my daughter is dying. My daughter could die. Can you come help? He's on his way to a dying daughter of a centurion, and the hemorrhaging woman reaches out. The apostles, the disciples, even like, well, Lord, how are we supposed to know? Let's just stay focused here. We're on our way. Let's go bring this woman back from the dead. No, someone touched me. Someone interrupted me. That's you this weekend. When you see Jesus, whether it's in communion, when you receive him, he's interruptible. You belong so much to him that if you reached out to him in adoration and said, Lord, I need you, he would stop, turn. Whatever anybody else said, no, Lord, we've got to keep going. That's how much we have a Lord that loves us. He fights for us to belong to this church. It's these amazing, amazing ways. And Zacchaeus is the last one. So many times I feel like Zacchaeus, I'm like climbing up the tree. I don't want anybody to see me. I just want to see what in the world is going on out there. And maybe you're sitting here. Maybe you chose, hey, I'm sitting in the balcony. I'm in the last row because I don't have any clue what's going on. This weekend, if you feel that distant from the Lord, he's calling you in. You belong here. You belong in his heart. You belong to be with him. So what's the response that we have to do when the Lord says that we belong? We have to believe. We truly have to believe, to live. He belongs, we belong to him, and he longs to be with us while we live for him. How do we do that? Priest, prophet, and king. This weekend, priest. How many of you, I want all of the adults that brought teenagers to stand up. Any adult that brought teenagers, chaperone, anything like that. All right. These people, stay standing. because this is awkward, because you're standing there, you don't know what to do. This is perfect. You belong standing, okay? These people that stand in front of you could be doing a million things other than being with you tonight. I hate to break it to you, but because they were baptized as priests, and what does a priest do? Sacrifices for us. A priest puts other people before himself. A priest puts everything else before him, and it sacrifices. Not just the sacramental priesthood, but the priesthood that we're all part of puts other people first. These people have been praying for you. They're not standing in front of you because they're cool and, they got all the newest gadgets. I mean, look at them. We're awkward youth ministers. They're just like, I don't even know why I'm here. You gave me the shirt. It doesn't even fit. Yeah. These people are a witness to the royal priesthood, and I want to say thank you to every one of them that is standing up because you brought the kids here. You are an example that they belong. You can have a seat. If you wonder if you belong, look at them and they will remind you, you belong. Look at me, I'm strange too. You belong. Secondly, prophet. Now, Archbishop brought up Pope Francis. You want to talk about a prophet in our time. This man is an unbelievable prophet. And you know why he's such a prophet? Because a prophet means to be a witness. But a witness to what? I believe it's a witness to love and to joy. We need a lot more love and joy in our church. Amen? I mean, we need a lot more love and joy, and he is a witness to that. Go to daily mass, okay? Okay, you want to say, well, Steve, I don't know if we need love and joy. We need rules and really stiff people. No, go to daily mass and go start freaking out some gray hairs, okay? That's one of my favorite things to do. I love going to daily mass, because I love bringing joy and love to them. And granted, they're great people, But for me, it's not about amazing music or having all this around you. I love to crank out the oldies. Because those old people are looking around, they're just like, open your hymnal to page 358. And they're looking at you like, those teenagers aren't going to open their hymnals. I cracked that bad boy open because I'm a priest prophet, and I belt it out. One bread, one body. That's right, Mildred. One Lord of all. Yeah, Harold, you baby. Woo! Come on, one drop of blessing. Yeah. I mean, belt it out. You want to freak some people out? You want to bring joy and love? Then go sing their songs. It doesn't have to look like that for us. We know that Jesus Christ loves us and that we belong in that church. Belt it out. That's why you're here. This excitement, I guarantee you take that back to your church, and we're going to have a very, very different Los Angeles next week. Okay? And thirdly, priest, prophet, and king. This is the big one because to believe in Jesus Christ is not popular. To believe that he is king of the universe, king of this world, and king of the netherworld, and king of heaven means that you're going to have to stand up against people that are going to completely and utterly make fun of you. I do it all of the time. I was Steve who made fun of them. And here I am today standing on a stage telling you that Jesus loves you. To be priest, prophet, and king, the last one means that you have got to lay down your life. Now, I know that's a big step, Steve, especially on a Friday night. I don't know if I can go there. Well, I want to tell you a story because to be the city of saints, we have to look at our saints. And I want you to think, back in 1926, there was a war in Mexico called the Cristero War. And this war was so hideous of a war. The dictator at the time came in charge, and he thought that every single Catholic was backstabbing him, basically. He thought that every single Catholic was more loyal to the Pope in Rome than to him. And in order in that time for him to rule and to be king, so to speak, He ruthlessly walked through the streets and had his army kill Catholics. Not just Christian, Catholics. Like a specific order of people. To tell them that they don't belong. That this is Mexico, and whatever's going on in your life, I don't care what you believe, but you've got to do what we do here. And they had to denounce that Jesus Christ was not king. So they followed this man all until these rebels, just these renegades. I always look at them as just a bunch of teenagers because we're just like, well, forget that. That's just stupid. Why would you kill Catholics? Let's go get them. Ah! Like just people that are just like, you know what? Common sense, this is dumb. And so they got an army together of just ragtag folk. You got a horse, bring it. You got a club, bring it. They got, you got a garden tool, bring it. And they went after the army. This one man came to the army and said, I want to join the army because he saw the priest at his parish get shot right in front of him. I mean, think about that. Not only did you see the priest get shot, but he saw the entire church get ransacked. I mean, everything, the Mary statue, everything thrown down, everything just ripped to shreds and burned. Think about if that happened at your church. Something stirring up. And your baptismal call, priest, prophet, and king, and you're just like, somebody needs to know who the king is. And if somebody's going to stand up for it, it's going to be me. They caught him. They threw him in jail. And they begged him, all you have to do is say, death to Christ the King. Death to Christ the King, and we will let you free. And the chant from that army was, Viva Cristo Rey. Viva Cristo Rey. And the boy, he looked at them, and after everything they were said, all you have to do is say, death to Christ the King, and he would say, Viva Cristo Rey, even louder. And so what they did, they skinned his feet, and they walked him down the main drag of the city in front of everyone else, got all the way to the end, said, all you have to do, his parents are there, his uncle, these people in his family, all these people that he's grown up with, standing in front. All you have to do is say, death to Christ the King. And he looks him square in the eye and he goes, Viva Cristo Rey. And they shot him and killed him. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think of what that man must have looked like. To have that much courage, to be able to say, you know what, I'm sick of everybody saying that this certain people doesn't belong, that I'm going to stand up and believe because I know that I belong to this. And if you're going to kill me, go ahead and kill me. What kind of a man? Is he huge? I mean, is he just, I think just muscles everywhere? Just a rock? Open your eyes. 14 years old. 14-year-old, blessed Jose Sanchez del Rio. Be it etched in your mind. In October of this year, blessed Jose becomes Saint Jose Sanchez del Rio. "14 years old. That's you. That could be you 3 years ago. To stand up and believe so much. That's the kind of church that I want to live in. I want to go to army and be in a battle with you. If you're going to stand up, that's what I want to do. I want to be so focused on the Lord and so much that I belong to Him that I'll let anything and anybody take me down. Go ahead. Because Viva Cristo Rey. Viva Cristo Rey. I don't care. I will never stand up in front of you and say, death to Christ the King. Viva Cristo Rey. And they killed him. And now he's a saint. And now in auditoriums all over the country like this one, we hone in on blessed Jose and we say, we need your faith. I want to stand like you. I want to be 14-year-old and I want to have the courage that you do. How do I get that? And he looks at us and he goes, you already have it. You were given it in baptism. You were baptized. There is an indelible mark. You belong to Jesus. You have got everything you need to stand up to anyone in your life, anyone that says, you know what, it's stupid to be Catholic. What are you doing going to the City of Saints conference? You're a loser. How would you do that? Don't you know there's so many other things that could be going on right now? If your phone's blown up because people are looking for you and you're afraid to tell them where you're at, maybe you need to get different friends, or maybe you just need to text them back, Viva Cristo Rey. Let them look it up. They don't know Spanish, look it up, baby. Because Jesus Christ owns this heart, and that's what I'm going to my deathbed with. Amen? Viva Cristo Rey.